All right, so I wanted to touch a couple of topics, right? How you doing? Anyway, so first of all, I wanted to bring up when I decided to start giving my petitions a little before, and I had my paperwork. Tony, Brian figured out, and Tony, that this little story happened in Pennsylvania. It wasn't supposed to be public, it wasn't public record, in Pennsylvania, and they photoshopped my photo, and I was very offended because I know who they were trying to say that it was me, and they with a suit with a broken pocket, and they saying it's a Jew with no money, that he's never gonna make it in politics, and then they put a similar face to this little boy that my godmother raised, he ended up being a foster child, his name was Dennis, Dennis Moss, and this boy we used to babysit him at home, and as when Teletubbies was first commenced, in the United States and everything. And I used to take care of him. He was the most beautiful kid when he was small, I didn't know he was white, and I know what they did, and I was very offended because I had some people that knew the story, and I figured it out, even the authorities in Pennsylvania had to call them up and say, leave the joke, because I know it hit a personal note, it was a massacre in Pennsylvania, with 7 people because he found his biological family, and the problem was that his mom and his dad were biologically brother and sister from the same from the same father and mother, and it started. This is why the massacre happened. It was a massacre of 7 people. I'm not sure if it was the Roy family. I'm not sure what last name they were. And then he got interned, and he admitted into the psych, and a week later they decided to euthanize him. He decided to euthanize him, because we're not his biological family, he didn't want to put that burden on anybody, and he did the right thing, because he was not normal, but when he was a kid, he was a beautiful kid. And that's the news for that, and it touched really hard because yeah, they trying to pin murder trials on me and massacre trials, saying that he was going to Pennsylvania. Those two, Brian and Tony, saying that he was just going over there because he thought those people had money. They were broke people, and it was a very sensitive story for me, an issue, because I didn't know what exactly happened there, and it's not right to do stuff like that just to ruin and ridicule somebody before their political career or their professional career, because that kid hit home to me, that kid, we took care of that kid. I took care of that kid when he was a child, and it's not right what you guys did, because you guys keep on hitting stories, and these stories hit me directly, I know it's more Brian, but I'll leave it at that because they kept on with that picture, and that picture was it looked like Fiorello de La Guardia, mayor from New York City, former mayor of New York City, in that photo. Um, anyway, so the second story I want to say, I'm tired of going places and these illegal documents, immigrants, they didn't. The mannerism that they came into this nation was not to be busboys or not to be waiters or not to be service workers until they make it in this country, and to see if we could give them legal status, a citizenship. They came here, they came here with high in a high horse. These people came here to hold hostage situation, to tell us whether we use too much Wi-Fi, no more Wi-Fi for you in the restaurant next time. It wasn't hit directly at me, but I went to go eat and there's no Wi-Fi now. Now they keep looking at your plate of food and you have to see if you leave, and this is not why we want illegal documents in our backyard for, they need to return home, you guys need to return home. Anyway, the next one is the Lower Bucks Inn. I mean the Bucks Hill Inn in Pennsylvania. I have driven. A friend of my brother's took us once there, and I have driven a couple of times because I like the properties there, and I was wondering if I could get a property there at one point. And it's a very nice community, but this hotel was built in the 1900s, and this hotel was a very fancy joint, there was two different stories for this the Bucks Hill Inn, the first one, they were Bulgarian, no, they were Bulgarian, the cooks were Bulgarian. They said they were fed up with cooking and everything, so they said that they, by mistake, it was a mistake that they burned down the kitchen, and the resort, the Buck Hill Inn, burned down. The second one was that the Croatian maid, she was dating one of the owners, and then her boyfriend, her boyfriend from Ireland burned down the place, and then I have the right answer, there was these 7 kids from Stroudsburg, from downtown Stroudsburg, from Sarah Street. They were Mr. Franco knew them, the founder of the Democrat Party. He thought that place was too much at the time for that area, and it was too obnoxious and too Republican and too ritzy, and he sent those 7 kids to burn down the Bucks Hill Inn in Pennsylvania.